with as of right now, using the financial model of banks, we're not too sure of exactly where our money is at the very moment. But with cryptocurrency, we know exactly where our money is and where it goes to. For example, with the bank, if I'm sending money to you, it might go through the bank then someone else before it comes to you.
Mm-hmm.
But with
Mm-hmm.
cryptocurrency, we are sure that it's going directly from me to you as well.
Yep.
So I want to touch on this with
Frictionless,
people.
peer
Yeah.
peer peer to peer and frictionless and instant. The power of blockchain is the distributed ledger. Once
Mhm.
you do something and you put it out there, one, it's out there and it's trackable instantly, and not with middle people or intermediaries. The other part is by doing it directly, one can reduce or remove friction, the cost, the time, the question. I mean, how often have people done wire transfers? I'll give you one piece of my daily life. In fact, while we were on this call, I had a piece that just popped up. So we one of our bigger backers and investors is in Switzerland, and and so you would think, okay, Swiss banker, Swiss law firm, state of the art, such and so. Yet I was getting a note on a wire transfer that was sent yesterday and will arrive tomorrow. Now,
Wow.
why should a wire transfer from Switzerland to the United States take 48 hours? Why should a
So,
wire transfer in the United States, depending on where and how it's sent, take more than 5 or 10 minutes? It's electronic. And yes, there are numbers and this, that, and the other. One can track confirmations and this, that, and the other. But with blockchain, it's basically immediate and way less friction. Uh, Sometimes you've got to go through one or two things if there is an intermediary service provider that's part of that.
mhm.
But when one looks at remittances, for example, if one goes to send money via Western Union from the US or Europe to Africa, the costs are mind-bogglingly expensive.
Right.
And why? Why should that be the case? Yeah, okay, we're letting them make too much money. Unnecessary, inappropriate. The people that need the money the most shouldn't be paying the most.
Mhm.
It's in my opinion, I actually believe it's immoral. I actually think it's wrong. And if you're from Western Union listening to this, come and visit me. I'd like to look in your eye and just say, shame on you. Seriously, I think the people that need the money the most should get it without that huge of a toll. I'll give you one example. One of my key colleagues, one of my key lieutenants, is a guy named Bradley Seelig, and he's an amazing human being. He was on Wall Street for 20 years, mainly at JP Morgan. And through various twists and turns, he ended up in Cote d'Ivoire, Africa, where he lived for about 3 years until he came back to the US and joined us. Fantastic, super smart guy. He got the ultimate, ladies, I apologize. He got the ultimate benefit of having gone to Africa because he met his wife and they had their daughter there. He's a 3-year-old now. But his wife was still, as they were dealing with her green card so she could come to America. She's originally from Morocco. Um, she was there for a number of months while they were organizing her coming to the US. So inevitably, Bradley would send money from time to time. Delays, costs, through primarily Western Union. When he told me some of the stories while they were going on, it was, I think, again, shameful. There were times when, even though he had walked into a Western Union office in the U.S. and sent whatever, a couple $1,000s, whatever it was, and gave, physical money to, some person that was a Western Union employee, they had multiple times where that Western Union transmittal was misplaced. One time for over a week. And that on top of incredibly ridiculous costs, which
Mhm.
I'm sure people on this phone know about because people from the diaspora often send money to people in other places, whether Africa or China or Southeast Asia. I mean, the economy of the Philippines is driven heavily by overseas workers. It's a
Right.
huge percentage of the population, less of that for Africa, but a fair amount.
Right.
So again, that friction, that delay, slows and limits the growth of the continent. So we definitely are looking at tools and services to do that. And even better yet, within the Akoin dApp store, one, we have our own functionality, but we also are, let others rise up and people will figure out which one they use best. Let me just put one anecdote out there. So I remember when I first had, an iPhone in the early days and I was getting used to apps and all of that, there were certain things that I loved. Say, for example, we travel a lot. So I use different travel apps to, whether I'm booking a hotel, buying a plane ticket, whatever else.
Yeah.
There were things that I loved in the beginning, and then other people came up with new innovations and this, that, and the other. Things that I used even as recently as 2 years ago, whether C-Trip for China or Agoda for other parts of Asia, or TripAdvisor, or whichever things, they go in and out of favor based on the tools and services and efficiencies that those things provide. So again, on remittances, it won't just be what one can do with and through Akoin. Within our dApp store, there will be a number of other choices, and let users figure out what's best for them.